Hello, Heidi Mercer again, here to continue our series on diabetes education, particularly in the use of insulin. And this video is about how do you know that you are on the right dose of long-acting insulin. So to start out with, let's talk a little bit about what long-acting insulin is used for. So it is used to keep the basal metabolism steady. So it is not used for meal coverage. The basal metabolism is the amount of energy that your body needs just to function. All the organs inside your body all need energy 24/7. So you always need a bit of sugar in the blood. And so when there's no food, so between meals and while you're sleeping, then the liver is stimulated to release glucose so that the body has fuel for those basal needs. So now remember, insulin not only transports glucose out of the blood, insulin is quite a busy hormone. It also suppresses the release of this glucose by the liver so that it keeps it from getting elevated, which is a common problem in diabetes. So basal insulin and long-acting insulin are the same thing because of the need that it fills. So that is used to control the liver sugar while sleeping and between meals. Basal insulin has been engineered to be time-released so that it lasts between 20 to 42 hours to kind of meet that 24-hour need. And it depends on which brand you use, how long they last. So the current basal insulins that we are using are Glargine, and there are 4 brand names that I know of. Lantus, Basaglar, Semglee, and Toujeo are Glargines. And Dedamir's brand name is Levemir, and Degludec's brand name is Tresiba. So how do we assess this dose? So the key is to make sure that you, first of all, eliminate variables that can affect the blood sugar that don't have anything to do with that insulin dose. So this means fasting, so not taking in any calories at all, no unusual physical activity in the evening before an overnight test. Can't be done during a time when you're under a lot of stress or illness if you want accurate results. So overnight testing, of course, is a good place to start. So the process itself starts out with hopefully an early supper, but normal, well-balanced, not high carb. Take meds as usual. If you're taking mealtime insulin, go ahead and take your usual dose. And then no eating after, no snacks on this evening. So, and then you test your blood sugar at bedtime. So that's why I said the early meal is because you really want to wait at least 3, if not 4 hours for your body to process that meal and get back to the basal metabolism. So the target, the American Diabetes Association says we should target for bedtime at 100 to 140 milligrams per deciliter. If your blood sugar is not in target range, there might be a few adjustments you need to make before you can do this, like figuring out what happened to that meal, what happened with the meals all day long, why is your blood sugar high or low. All right, and then, of course, you go to bed and sleep, and then you test your fasting blood sugar in the morning before you get up and start moving around too much. You don't want activity to affect it. And the ADA target, again, is 80 to 130. So overnight, if you do have a low blood sugar, of course, stop the test and eat and treat it as usual. This automatically, if you follow the previous instructions, is an indication that your basal dose is probably too strong. So the morning blood sugar should not change much more than about 30 points if your basal dose is correct for you. So if it climbs overnight, that means that the basal dose is not strong enough. It's too weak. And if the blood sugar drops overnight, and then it's likely that your dose is too strong, and that's much more likely to give you low blood sugars. So now that you know, either my basal dose is spot on, maybe too weak, maybe too strong, you can bring this information to your provider, but don't change your insulin dose without consulting your healthcare provider. It should always be done. And besides that, you need them to change your prescription. So you need to be in conversation with your clinic and your healthcare providers if you think an adjustment is needed. So that's it for today. We're going to talk more about basal insulin. It's a little bit more complicated to assess when you're on an insulin pump or when you're taking insulin with every meal. So look for that next video to come soon.